Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. I was able to run Vecna Eve of Ruin Chapter 1 a couple days ago, and I just want to share some of the tips that I learned in so doing with all of you. If you're a player, there will be spoilers here, so please come back after you play the adventure and let us know how it went. Chapter 1 is titled Return from Never Death Graveyard, and the project lead is Amanda Hammond. Characters should be, for this adventure, 10th level, and there's some instructions in the adventure for them to be 7, 8, 9, or 11th level. Like most Wizards of the Coast adventures, it's a little too weak in some areas, and I'll go over what those are. All my notes are in the description below too, so you can grab those. The plot of the adventure has Dagult Neverember hiring the party to investigate the disappearance of some high-ranking nobles in the area of Neverwinter. There's 4 nobles that he describes to the party, and there's a lead to where they might have gone. When the party follows up on that lead, they discover a cult of Vecna, and they probably will learn that the cult is kidnapping and sacrificing individuals with secrets. If all goes well, the party will rescue 3 of those individuals from the cult, and they'll stop the cult from performing a ritual to steal secrets from a 4th individual. When that happens, though, they're shunted into Evernight, a gloomy version of Neverwinter in the Shadowfell. And when that happens, they receive a link with Vecna, which will tie their fate to that of the lich-god for the rest of this campaign. To get out of Evernight, they'll have to find a gate back to Neverwinter, which they can find in the Dolindar tomb, which they can find out about. So there's 3 individuals in this part of the adventure with secrets, and secrets are the currency of this campaign. Indrina has one, Sarcelle has one, and Umberto has one. Now, they don't automatically share them. There'll be instructions in the adventure for how they can be persuaded into sharing the secrets that they have. Umberto also serves a good purpose in that you can use him to dole out some of the history of Vecna. There's a great article in D&D Beyond. Here it is, Who is Vecna and Why Must He Die? So I've been basically using this with Umberto, sharing this information with the party as he generates it. So let's look at this adventure map in total. Now, these maps are by Heroic Maps. They are fantastic. Tessa Maps also has free maps right now for this part of the adventure, and is compiling all those as well. So another option for you for the maps. Let's look at what I changed. So the party's going to start out with Lord Neverember. No change there, really. From there, the leads are going to take them into the Never Death Graveyard. Here, if you want to kind of expand the adventure, you can put in some more encounters in that area. That's a good location for them. As far as the pacing overall for the adventure, it took us 2 sessions, and we go at a pretty fast clip. A more relaxed pace, you could go 3, maybe 4 sessions of encounters. You could throw some more stuff in there, more NPC interactions, more wandering monsters. With session 1, I'll tell you how far we got. So we got through the graveyard here, and then they went down into the Never Death catacombs. And in the first part of the catacombs, there's not any cultists, but they could find a couple prisoners, and they could also find this Merit who's working on some clockwork stuff. The first encounter I beefed up is encounter 7 here. I added another water elemental. Now, the party should not fight this encounter, but if they do, I want it to be kind of tough for them. Then, the party can also turn on some valves that'll pump more water into the second part of the dungeon. And here is a version, you can see this room where the holy symbol of Vecna is there, where the 2 water basins could be overflowing, and Heroic Maps has a version of the map that has that with this whole room flooded. So that's really cool. The next area that I kind of changed up a little bit was in Area 19. This had 2 Barlguras, which are large ape-like demons, and you notice all the hallways here are 5 feet wide, so I would recommend changing those to 5-foot medium-sized demons. Babao is pretty good, Shadow Demon's pretty good, and putting 4 of those in there total will up the encounter difficulty a little bit as well. We were coming to the end of our first session at about this area of the map. And the last encounter they're going to face was going to be the wights, or wraiths, I mean. So I added 2 wraiths, I made it 4. If I was running this again, I may make it 3. Then the next thing that I changed, as the party is exploring this area, is Gerard, one of the NPCs, should be in his office as written, but the last encounter I thought needed to be beefed up. And so I brought Gerard out of his office into the last encounter. And speaking of the last encounter, there are some cultists in that encounter that are supposed to be just performing a ritual and don't take part in any kind of fighting. I'd throw them into the battle. I would, though, have them concentrating on the rituals. They couldn't do any concentration spells. Furthermore, the battle here is supposed to end as soon as the mage Kendry is dropped or the cage is opened. I would have it go until all concentration of all members is dropped. Once that happens, the ritual is stopped, and then the party can be shunted away. And that should make it a much more climactic battle for this part of the adventure. From here, the party's shunted away into Evernight, and they actually appear in a graveyard in open coffins with ghouls approaching. In the adventure, there's 12 ghouls. I'd bump that up to 16, and I'd furthermore have 4 come every round until the party flees from this area. So they basically have realized they can't overcome everything in Evernight. Here's a good picture of Evernight, too, that you can share with the party. Then they can come to the corpse market, and they can trade for some information, like how do we get out of here? Don't forget, Eldon will be with them, and you can use him to try and maybe guide them to find out how to get back if they don't think of that on their own. But the Sangora vampire can share some information and will tell them to go to the tomb of the Dolindars, and that will find a gate out of there. You can also foreshadow a little bit the vampire spawn that the party's going to see in the next part by having a few of them wandering around. So then they go back to another graveyard area, the Dolindar estate. Oh, and let me go back here a little bit. So as the party's approaching this main graveyard here, this is another part of the map that you can show what's inside that building. Same thing happens in the Dolindar grave here, where I can grab this and move that to the back and show the inside of that building. Then I come over here to this map, and this is the lower level. And the last change I made to the adventure was adding more opponents in the very climatic encounter. A single CR9 creature versus a party of 10th level characters would be just so anticlimactic. I'd put 4 creatures in there in addition to the main creature, and that should make it a pretty good fight for you. All this time you've been seeing these tokens here, so I grabbed all those out of the adventure. I'll put links to the tokens that I made so you can grab them if you want to use them in your adventuring. For the music for the adventure, I used music by Tabletop Audio, which is built in to Roll20. And in the Getting Started area, Medieval Town, Royal Court, in the Graveyard, Haunted Ramparts, in Neverdeath Catacombs, Cave of Time, and then by the Merid, Antiquarian Study, by the Cultists, Abyssal Gaze. Then Escaping Evernight, Dark City, and then Dolindar Tomb, Haunted Ramparts again on the outside, Puzzle Dungeon to get through that door, and Ancient Artifact to go through the gate in the end there. The maps here are all by Heroic Maps. Like I said, I'll put a link below. We have 3 different products: Neverdeath Graveyard and Catacombs, Evernight Grave Pit and Corpse Market, and Dolindar Tomb. That is it for the adventure. It was a pretty fun adventure. I think you'll enjoy it. Just beef up the encounters a little bit. Also, probably beef up the treasure a little bit. It's pretty short on magic items. I ended up adding Mantle Spell Resistance and I think Ring of Evasion, because otherwise it's a little bit sparse. And at this level, the party should be getting some good stuff. After this adventure, the party's got some downtime. Again, I would recommend having the party follow up kind of on the leads that they got in the adventure. In this room here, when they got shunted away, there's a good chance they didn't kill all these cultists, so they might be able to follow up on where did the cultists go. When I get into Chapter 2, I'm maybe not going to use a whole lot of those 3 wizards. I might just have the party let them do their own investigation, do their own following up. I already kind of have an idea how they're going to go into the next part doing that. I'll probably want to bring the Wizards 3 in there somehow, some way, but we'll see. I want to give the party, all the agency they can have to go where they want to do and do what they want to do and make this their adventure. So you should make it your adventure when you run it, and I'd love to hear how it goes in the comments below. I will talk to you all next time.